Cool. Well, thanks for being here today. We're gonna go ahead and get started once I pull up the keynote. All right. So today's topic, I was inspired by this by reading this book, 1 Year, Six Figures, and that's what I entitled this. All right, as well. But I want to make sure that before I get sued by Mr. Frank Gray or Abbey Realty, who is now with EXP, this is all stuff that is pretty much coming right out of this book. So I attended one of his trainings last year here in town. I think a title rep or somebody invited me to a training. I said, yeah, sure, I'll go to this training. Well, I didn't know, but Frank Gray was hosting it. I didn't know who he was. And his whole training was based off of this book. He gave everybody a copy of this and gave everybody a copy of, List to Last, Ricky Kruth's book, all right? So I didn't get around to it. I really enjoyed the training. Everything was great. I finally got around to reading those two books at the beginning of this year and just found a lot of great nuggets in there and highlights. So I wanted to share that. So that's what we're doing today. All right. So let's jump in. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's written down here, right? And then we'll kind of pause and talk about or have any questions. As always, feel free to interrupt with any questions you might have. There's a few times in this presentation that I'll stop and kind of read a short little paragraph or less from the book. So let's get started. Chapter 1, all right. A career in real estate sales provides you the opportunity to fund any lifestyle you can imagine. There are no limits, and that is the beautiful thing. I truly believe in that. We're in a mindset of abundance. And Ricky Kruth talks about it all the time. There's closings happening every single day, right? No matter if we're in an up market, a down market, a sideways market, right? There's closings happening and we have to go out there and find them, right? And take advantage of that. With there being no limits to how much you can make, there's no ceiling and there's no floor, right? So, I mean, we could be paying for leads and doing all these things and putting all this money in and it doesn't really pay off, right? Then we're going to find ourselves needed to go flip burgers at McDonald's. All right. So there's a lot of action that we need to take to make sure, but the ceiling, there is no ceiling and it's endless, right? What's really cool about this too is there's so many things that you can do to build a business. We've talked about different things and we're going to kind of hit on some things here and maybe some different things that you haven't heard of. But you get to customize and choose what your real estate career is going to look like based off of your personality and strengths, right? You find a few sources that you like to do or that don't bother you to do, and you go after those and dig in and commit to those, and you get to build a very successful business off of that, all right? So I just got a notification, participants can now see your screen. Has everybody been able to see my screen so far? Everybody good so far?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thank you. This was interesting, and this is another thing in the book. A lot of this stuff, like I said, is ripped right out of the book. 40% of the agents make less than $10,000 a year. Yikes! I don't think we can live off of $10,000 a year, right? Now, with that being said, there's also a lot of people that do this as a side gig and just sell a house or two a year for a nice little vacation money, right? Another thing is 77% make less than $50,000 a year. And me personally, I don't want to fall into that because I was making more money than that teaching, right? And there's plenty of headaches there, and that's why I left. But I'm looking to make more than that, right? Top 19% of agents make more than $100,000 a year. That didn't happen in my first year, but my second year, I did pass that. So I guess technically I could say that I'm in the top 20%, all right? And then less than 1% make more than $250,000 a year or more, right? So that's my goal, right? I want to get to that level. I want to be a top 1%er in the industry. But going back to that top 20%, shooting for 100K or more a year, they say that 20% of the people do 80% of the work. You've probably heard that before. And it's true, right? There's your 20% right there that are making legit money in this business. And that's where we all want to be, all right? One of my goals of doing this weekly and training is I truly believe that if everybody, the people that are tapping into the resources that we are providing and that EXP provides, and you actually do the work and you take action, there's no reason that all of us can't be cappers selling $3 million or more a year. And that's going to put you at roughly $80,000 to $90,000. I truly believe that, but you have to get off your butt and do the work, right? The reason of failure is that agents don't commit to the sources and strategies long enough to see the results. All right, you got to go, okay, I'm doing this and I'm gonna commit to this for 2, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, and really see, am I winning or am I losing? All right. The reality is that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We talked about this. I mean, some people come out of the gate killing it. Some people take a really long time. And I have found in studying different people and listening to different people, some of the most successful people, like at the very top of the business, kind of had a slow start. All right. Like Carmen Bean is a huge time producer here. It took her like 8 months to close her first deal. All right. And now she's like making silly money. All right. And I'm sure you can go down the line. I think even Ricky Carruth talks about it. Like he kind of came out as a gangbuster, but then he lost everything and then he built it back up. All sources of generating business work only if you do, right? If you're not willing to change what you're doing, if you're unhappy with what you're getting in this business right now, and you want to change and make more money and be more successful, then you have to change something about yourself. All right. And that's kind of what I've kind of recommitted to myself this year. It's like, this is the first time I'm treating it like a real full-time job, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, putting in the work. And I know what the outcome is going to be. All right. It's going to be great. All right. So those are some things that kind of set the tone from the very beginning. Do we have any questions so far? We're going to do a quick little break there. Any questions thus far? I know we had some people join us. Thank you for being here. And if not, we're just going to keep rolling. We got quite a bit to get to, and I want to make sure that I respect your time. Chapter 2, the goose is loose. All right. This is the foundation of a sales business. All right. And you go, what the hell why are you talking about a goose? Well, this is why. This is what Frank Gray in this book talks about. The goose is the acronym for GeoFarm or Demo Farm. All right. O is for open house. O is for online leads. S is for sphere of influence. And E is for everything else. All right. So his belief is like, if we focus on these 4 to 5 things right here, and we just really commit to the strategies that he lays out in this book, all right, then we are going to be making $100,000 or more, right? And we're going to get to a document here that I'm going to have you write down your goals financially. And you don't have to share those, but you'll get a quick insight on mine that I kind of half-assed did. By the way, for those people that have joined us late, I just want to mention this. This book, well, one more time, is a 1 Year 6 Figures by Frank Gray. Okay, Frank Gray, been in the real estate business a very long time. He had his own brokerage in Houston, Texas. I saw him at a training last year. He handed out this book to everybody that attended, and a Ricky Carruth's book, List to Last. I read both of them in January, all right, and I found them very valuable and lots of great information, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, all right. Again, going back to one of the things I heard recently is like, I'm learning, all right, and what I'm sharing what I'm learning, all right. So that's where all this comes from. These are not necessarily my ideas. This is mainly coming from that book. Cool. So why do we do this thing called real estate? I'm going to turn it over to y'all for a second. Why do you do real estate? Anybody? Jump on in. Turn on your mic. Tell me. I got to plug in real quick. Come on, don't be shy. Alan Grulich, why do you do real estate?
I think the main reason is freedom of your time, freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Yep, absolutely. Anybody else?
Return on investment.
Return on investment. Love it. Anybody else?
Control of time. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the answer. We want to make money, don't we?
Yeah, that's it.
We want to make money. And this is a beautiful, beautiful package and vehicle that can help us make as much money as we really want. All right, the sky's the limit. And then that money gives us the freedom that we're looking for. All right. And the beautiful thing about EXP is it also gives us other tools that we're knowledgeable about to leverage that and give us even more freedom of time. All right. So you do this to make money, right? The more people we serve, the better we serve them, the more money we make. All right. You want to make more money? Go talk to more people. All right. So that's super important. And then as your service grows, your income grows. All right. Again, these are kind of coming right out of the book. Just wanted to share this. Check this out. It's probably kind of hard to read, but we're going to take a quick, like 1 minute. Financial requirement, jot this down. Amount of money you need to contribute each month to cover your family's normal living expenses. Write down that number. I would assume that most of y'all on here kind of know your either personal budget or your family's budget. Like, what is that budget number? Okay. Next number we're going to write down. Amount of money you need to save each month for large purchases such as a vacation, a new car, or Christmas gifts. How much money should you save for those type of things? Just quit whatever the number is that comes to your mind, just jot it down. Amount of money you need to contribute each month to your IRA or other long-term savings accounts to fully fund a comfortable retirement. Some of you that are like way more advanced than I am, you're probably laughing at my numbers. I just made up these numbers. I probably need to revisit this, really probably twice a year and go, oop, that number needs to go up. The next number, amount of money you wish to give each month to religious organizations or charitable causes. I think I wrote this stuff down in January. Please don't judge. Being a little vulnerable with my numbers here. Amount of money, the next one, amount of money you need to set aside each month to pay your taxes. I'll tell you this, that number's probably low because in 2020, I claimed 77,000, somewhere around there. And I think I had like a $17,000 tax bill because I didn't write anything off because I'm trying to qualify for a house. So I'm sure that I could have written a lot of stuff off. But anyways, next number, amount of money you need to budget each month for business expenses, including professional fees, marketing budget, gasoline, miscellaneous expenses. If unknown, start with 1,000 and then adjust as needed. So business expenses, how much are you spending? Next one, amount of money you need to spend or save each month to fulfill your lifelong dreams and aspirations. Okay, and then you're gonna add up all those numbers that you just did, and it's gonna give you the preliminary monthly total. All right, so go ahead and add those up and give you 10 seconds to type that in. Okay, as you're doing that, the next one is amount of money you will pay in broker splits and fees on commissions equal to the monthly total above. I can't remember exactly how I did that, but obviously we're paying $85 a month here at EXP times 12. And then I think I did a $16,000 of cap divided by 12. I think that's that number that I put in there. Okay, so then you're going to take the preliminary monthly plus that money that you're paying to your broker, and you're going to get a final monthly total. Mine is $9,625. You're going to multiply that by 12, and you have to, in order to achieve all this, you have to make $115,500 a month, or sorry, a year, for the year. So whatever that number is, that just kind of gives you a general idea. Okay, you know, how much do I need to make a year to meet all these goals? Okay. Any questions on that? Cool. Check this out. To make the kind of money you say you need, you're going to work harder than you ever have before. Push yourself beyond where you've been before and do things way outside your comfort zone. All right, so whatever that number is, and that number honestly probably needs to be higher than what you just jotted down. I mean, if you're being realistic, unless you went on the opposite side and blew up your numbers. All right. So you go, okay, if I have to make 150 to cover my expenses, I better get to friggin' work. All right. So let's kind of talk about that. Chapter 4, making the sausage. All right. And he talks about this, and this is the picture I found on the internet. Sometimes it's dirty work. Sometimes it's not that enjoyable. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable doing these things, right? All those things. And if you've been in the business long enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about, all right? It's not rainbows and sunshine. It's showing houses in the cold. It's showing houses late at night. It's showing all kinds of buyers and sellers, and like, it's not the selling sunset, right? If you're going to succeed in real estate, you're going to have to make your own success. Countless hours of nitty-gritty work building your database, honing your strategies, practicing your scripts, measuring your results, challenging your beliefs, learning the contracts, and constantly pushing yourself to get better, right? If we're not doing these things, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, what are we doing? We're dying. You never plateau. You never stay still. You're either going this way or you're going this way, all right? And we got to keep growing and learning and getting better, all right? 6 areas that need to be addressed, all right? I'm going to read a couple of spots here. He breaks this down into the S's, all right? Subconscious, right? Oh, here we go. I should have been better about this. In order to sustain productive activity over time, we must consciously adopt productive beliefs that through repetition become unconscious beliefs. As strange as it might sound, your thoughts and behavior will work together to affirm your new identity. Bottom line, the quality of your life and the productivity of your business are the direct result of the quality of your beliefs. If you want a better life, get better beliefs. If you want a better business, get better beliefs. All right. So again, we always talk about, like, it starts up here. All right. It starts up here, and training yourself to be that motivated and disciplined person to take these steps to increasing your business. Strategy talks about all success begins with the plan, how to get the business. All right. Skills of the business, page 34. Let me see what I've jotted down there real quick. All right. Skills, being able to build a landing page, leading a listing conversation with prospective sellers, putting together an efficient showing schedule. Be aware mastery level real estate skills take time and experience to attain. You will feel dumb and awkward the first time you perform many of these tasks. Just keep reminding yourself that you've got to crawl before you walk and walk before you run. Nobody is born with knowing these skills. And if some of these skills take you outside your areas of natural strength, so don't give up. None of these skills are beyond the ability of any agent to learn and eventually master. All right. So we have to know this. Do you know contracts? Do you know taxes? Do you know technology? Do you know zoning laws? Do you know marketing strategies? Competing properties, market value, pricing strategies, schools, neighborhood amenities, local attractions, new developments, and so forth. All right. I'll be honest, I don't know all of those. I know a good chunk of them. I feel pretty comfortable in certain things, but I still have a lot of learning to do, right? That's why I attend trainings and hear things and listen to things. Be prepared to become a lifelong student of such issues with an insatiable appetite to learn more and stay up to date. Things are constantly changing, so you have to be going after that. Silver, there are costs of these strategies. Some costs on certain strategies are lower than others, right? But I hear some agents, I heard a new agent the other day, hasn't done a deal yet, I don't think, but they're paying $200 a month for online leads. And it's like, oh man, that's costly. Like you could be, if you're going to spend that much money, then there's better ways to spend that kind of money. All right. Standards is tracking your numbers. I just started tracking my numbers. I have a spreadsheet that I can show you. This deal came from this. This deal came from a sphere. This deal came from an open house or whatever. And now that I have that finally that I could look at, now I know where to kind of focus my efforts in. All right. So that's super important. Stuff, you need tools and resources, right? We obviously have great technology here at EXP, and every single brokerage has great technology. Let's face it, right? It doesn't matter where you're at. You have the tools, all right? But can you be able to use them? Do you have a IDX enabled website? The capability of building landing pages, squeeze pages? Do you have a CRM that can mass text, mass email, auto response capabilities, plus knowledge of how to properly value properties and identify neighborhood value trends using the MLS, all right? There's so many things. We also need yard signs. We need lock boxes. We need these types of things. So you, as you go and as you do business, you can build on that, all right? And make sure that you have all the tools needed. Support is massive. You know, I know Shane's on here listening in, but he's been a massive support to me and my business, right? So team partners, Alan Grulich is on here. You know, all of you guys that have joined us today, and we're building this productive agents group. The support that we have, you know, sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm out of town. Can Jim Ragsdale go open this house for me? You know, so that's super important. And also masterminding, right? I love this. And I was like, that's exactly what we're doing. Many agents have found value in creating a mastermind group, AKA productive agents, who are using the same strategies to achieve similar goals. The group should meet weekly to assess progress, hold each other accountable to required activity levels, and celebrate successes. You know, that's one of the core things about this group that we've created. And that's why, you know, we are committed to doing these weekly trainings and staying on top of each other and helping each other where we can, right? So before we go into the next chapter, questions, comments, thoughts, anything? I just need a second to breathe. Shane's nodding. I guess that means he agrees. Shane, well, what are you hearing?
About geofarming?
What's that?
What are you talking about, geofarming?
No, I'm not there yet. But no, we're just talking about the mindset and like the different things of making the sausage, like putting in the work, making sure you're constantly learning and growing.
Oh, for sure. In the last 5 years, I've grown more than any other 5 years in my whole career. My business is better than ever because of it. And it helps my mindset to get right.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. Cool. Well, we're going to keep rolling along. Everything's going well. Again, a reminder, if you hear something, you go, well, what are you talking about? Please feel free to interrupt at any time, ask a question or for clarification. So the first G in Goose is geofarm, all right? And here's directly out of the book. Instead of typing all this, I just decided to take a picture. In order to dominate a neighborhood, you need to live in that neighborhood. You need to be seen at the HOA meetings, seen walking to the mailbox, seen waiting with your kids at the bus stop, seen at the community park, and seen walking your dog down the sidewalk. You need to be able to send the message, I live here, I play here, I work here. Nobody knows this neighborhood as well as I do, and nobody cares about this neighborhood as much as I do. You simply can't make these statements if you don't live in the neighborhood, all right? So I don't have a neighborhood as of right now that I personally live in, right? But in a couple months, I should be closing on my new house, and I'm really looking forward to establishing a presence in that neighborhood, all right? As I'm reading this, two people come to mind that I think of is Helen, all right? Shane's wife, all right? She is dominant in her neighborhood. Everybody knows her. She's constantly listing in Rogers Ranch. all right? And people know who she is, right? The other person is, I saw Cedric post this the other day. He got a new dog, and he was walking that new dog in the neighborhood, and he posted, hey, this dog just got me a new lead, you know? And like, I can't wait to walk my dog in the neighborhood. And because I know that, you know, she's the cutest thing ever, and people are going to stop and say hi and want to pet her. And then I'm going to say, hey, how are you doing? I'm Tony. They're going to give me their name, and we're going to start a conversation. All right. And I'm going to ask them, hey, what do you do? You know, how long you've lived here? That just strike up a conversation. That's really how simple this business is. Go meet new people and just simply start a conversation by saying those couple things. Hey, how are you doing? I'm Tony. What's your name? Oh, great. Cool. Awesome. How's your day going? Oh, yeah. You just got home from work. Awesome. What do you do? You know, what do you do for work? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. That's great. Oh, yeah. My dad did that. Oh, blah, blah. Oh, well, what do you do? Well, I'm a realtor. You know, I live down the street, you know, and then it just goes from there. This whole business is simple, but it's not easy. You got to step out of your comfort zone. All right. So the strategy, all right, once you're in that neighborhood, initially, you're going to write a letter from the heart. Maybe you probably type it out, but maybe you handwrite the names and the addresses on the outside. All right, so it's more personal. But a letter to the heart is really just a one-pager, maybe 2-3 paragraphs long with maybe a picture or two of you and the family, all right, or your dog or whatever, and you send it out to the neighborhood. All right, you snail mail it, all right, and you send that out introducing yourself. Hey guys, I live in the neighborhood. Just wanted to introduce myself. Blah 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 blah. You know, I'm born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. Blah blah blah. Etc. All right. But now everybody knows when they see you walking, they go, oh, I just got that guy's mail. All right. So now you're staying top of mind. All right. Weekly, what are you going to do? He talks about weekly email here. All right. And then hosting an open house. You know, hopefully you start getting listings in that neighborhood. We'll go host the open house and be seen doing that. All right. And meet your neighbors. Right, monthly, you're going to do 7 email messages. We'll get into the breakdown of that in just a second here on the next slide. 2 postcards. Quarterly, you're going to do a mass text message, reminders of upcoming events. You know, maybe your neighborhood is doing a trash pickup, you know, large item trash, bulk trash pickup. Send out a text message to these people in your neighborhood. Hey, just a reminder, you know, because guess what? You forget, and everybody else in the neighborhood probably forgets. All right? I'm a very forgetful person. A little reminder, like, oh, thanks, man, appreciate it. Semi-annually community event and personally invite them. All right, and annually do a goodie bag delivered to each door. Weekly email is the foundation of your personal brand, must be original and personal. All right, I'm going to use this because it's new to me. I think I've sent out 5, maybe 6 in a row now. And I started doing them. And on the second email that I send out, every Wednesday, I send out the release report with the little emoji of a house. All right. And it's simple. Some of you have seen it. Some of you have commented on how easy and simple it looks. And that's the point. Right? It doesn't need to be crazy wording and all this junk in there. Just get to the point, show some things that catch the eye. A guy reached out to me that I haven't spoken to since 2019. He wants to sell both of his houses and downsize. All right. So it's like, awesome. You know, I reconnected there. So I do believe the email works. It's probably not the most successful thing in the world. I'm at about a 35 to 40% open rate right now. All right. But hey, when you're sending that out to over 500 people, that's a decent amount of people opening that up every single week. All right. Week 1, do a market update. Week 2, do a local restaurant review. Week 3, local business review. Week 4, featured listing or neighborhood. This is a cool model to do. I don't necessarily do mine that way. Usually if I have an evidence of success, like, hey, this awesome couple just signed a contract on their new build, took a picture of them, put it in my email, said, welcome them to the neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. They're super excited to be buying their first home. You know, that was like the top of the email, right? And then like the second part of the email, I go to SA Current. If you're here in town, I follow SA Current on, oh gosh, what you call it? On Instagram, right? On my business page. I like, as I'm writing it, I'll pull up SA Current and go, oh, that's a cool article. I'll send that article to my email. I'll pull it up on my computer. I link it directly to my email, all right? And I take the picture right off of the website, put it onto my email, right? I take the first sentence or two directly off, put it right there, and then put continue reading. And that's the link to take them to SA Current. If they, like the one that I did yesterday was 25 awesome parks in San Antonio for you to check out this coming spring or something like that, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody might be interested in that, but it's just providing a little value and being personal, right? And then every now and then I have like a YouTube clip that I plan on doing a little bit more of that. And of course, at the bottom, I say, I look forward to working with you now or in the future, Tony Ruiz, with my business card on it. So, and it took me 2-3-ish hours the first time I did it to kind of map it all out and figure it out and format it. Now it takes me about 30 minutes. I literally go in there and I copy the format, start a new one, replace this picture with that picture, replace this article with that article, shoot it out, boom, 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 move some things around. Okay, it's done, right? So there's always a learning curve at the very beginning of anything you do. And then once you figure that out, the process speeds up. So I definitely recommend that you work on that. Monthly, we do 3 automated email messages. This is, again, coming out of the book. These aren't, I don't do all of these things, but these are some things that I want to pass on to you that I found valuable. So when I'm reading, you can see these pink highlights. As I'm reading, I have my highlighter and I go, ooh, that's good. That's a good nugget. Ooh, that's a good nugget. Ooh, that's a good nugget. Right. So now when I go back and prepare this, I'm looking at those highlights and going, yeah, I want to share that. Yeah, I want to share that. All right. So 3 automated email messages, current market value of their home, a report on all real estate activity, e-version of American Lifestyle or Start Healthy magazine. That's going to cost you some money. All right. You can or don't have to do that. Ask them for their emails. Offer something of value. I thought this was really creative, and this is definitely something that I want to do. Page 43. What does it mean to offer something of value? Top producer went door to door in her neighborhood, taking free professional grade photos of each family in front of their home. She then offered to email the photos to the homeowners. They freely provided their email addresses because they wanted the photos. Do you think that would work? Do you think you would get email addresses if you offered to do that? Of course you would. All right. You're providing a service. All right. And what is that going to cost you? Well, I know my good friend Jim Ragsdale, his wife does photography, and she might do it for free. All right. Just to get some practice and exposure for it. And she gets to introduce herself to those people as well. Right. It's helping her business and my business. We both get the emails. Like, I'm willing to bet would be willing to do that. And in my opinion, here's another one. Set up a photo booth in your driveway for Halloween pictures, and then email photos of the little goblins to their parents. All right. Again, you have a friend or your wife takes pretty good photos, whatever it is, like, just set up a little booth. So those are some ideas to doing that. All right. Consider organizing a community event, cleanup day, food drive, tree planting initiative, etc. All right. So it says to read highlights. I'm just going to quickly glance over this. Don't want to do that after. Quarterly. Every 3 months, send a text message to everyone in your database. Don't forget to swing by our home on Halloween night. We've got a photo booth for the kids, those type of messages. I'm grilling hot dogs and hamburgers at the community center this Saturday at noon. Just my way of saying how much I love this neighborhood and my neighbors. Come hungry. Do you know home values in Apple Valley are up 6% this year? If you're thinking about selling, like those are examples of text messages that you can send out, right? Semi-annually, twice each year. All right. You will host or coordinate an event. All right. Call every homeowner twice each year, annual goodie bags, etc. All right. So those are just some different ideas to farm. All right. You got to plant the seeds. Farmers plant the seeds and then they harvest the crop. All right. So you got to be active in doing this type of things. All right. So these are, there's a little bit more expense to this, right? You're having to pay for postage. You're having to pay for paper. You're having to, let's say you're spending $200 on a community event. So you're budgeting $400 annually. All right. Maybe it's just popsicles. Hey, go buy bulk at Costco, a whole bunch of popsicles for the kids and take them to the park. All right. Whatever it is. And that's just your way of introducing yourself. All right. Now, like me, I lived in an apartment. All right. I know some of you live in an apartment. All right. And you go, well, I don't have a neighborhood. He talks about a demo farm. All right. Demo farm means find a mutual like. All right. Are there a bunch of Aggies that get together and watch A&M games at the local bar, right, or the local restaurant? All right. I saw one today or yesterday, Shane. Maybe we should go do this. But Silverhorn in 2 weeks is starting their Buck Night. All right. I think for like $28, you get like 9 holes of golf. I think a beer or two and some wings every Wednesday, starting at like 5:30 p.m. I'm like, you know what? $30 a week times 4, that's $120 I'd be spending. But think about who I would be hanging out with. More than likely, those people probably have a little bit of money, probably have properties, property owners, and you're interacting with those types of people. Do you think that would work? Probably, right? So interacting and getting yourself out there and connected to different people. All right. So you don't necessarily have to be in a neighborhood, but of course you could do both if you are in a neighborhood. All right. Any questions about any of that? Any thoughts?
So Tony, like right at the beginning, you talked about the letter from the heart.
Yeah.
And if, say for instance, like myself, lived in the neighborhood 11, 12 years, you know, I walk, I run, I know the immediate neighbors, but not out and about. So how, do you just put I'm new to real estate, and or you know, I haven't reached out to people in 11 years, but how do you make it where it's not awkward?
Yeah, I would say that you and they talk about it in here, don't overthink the letter to the heart. You need to write it as if you're just personally talking to, it says right here, writing your letter to the heart. It's best if you just write like a real person telling your story to a friend, right? So maybe your story is, hey, you know, maybe I was in real estate, then I was out of it, now I'm back in. Maybe you definitely want to mention that you're in real estate, but maybe it's just a small portion of it.
Okay.
Or maybe you plan an event. So like you've been in your neighborhood a while. So maybe the letter of heart is tied into an invite to something that you're going to host. March, we're coming up on spring break. Hey, for spring break, we're going to be doing this thing. Or Easter's around the corner. Hey, we're doing a Easter egg hunt. By the way, I've lived in this neighborhood. I love this neighborhood. Blah blah blah. I've been buying and selling houses. I'm a realtor. We are hosting this event.
Okay.
It's not something. I guess you just kind of have to be creative on trying to find that hook. All right. But even then, I think it's just tell your story. For me, it's like, hey, I was born and raised here in San Antonio, Texas. I went to Texas State University. My family's a bunch of Aggies. I taught at Churchill High School for 11 years. I went to MacArthur High School, blah, blah, blah. So you're telling your story. You're really just introducing yourself. All right. I'm in real estate. I'm in my 3rd year of real estate, just moved to the neighborhood. Now, how can you do all of that, but spin the new to the neighborhood in a different way?
Gotcha.
All right. I'm sure you can come up with that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else? Cool. Means I'm killing it. chapter 7, right? I'm gonna go quickly through this. We've done a thing on open houses before. It's one of the older videos, but open houses, the first O of open houses. He says this: I never sold any of the homes I hosted to anyone who was introduced to the home at the open house. But at most open houses, I would meet buyers and sellers with whom I would form a relationship that eventually resulted in closed transactions. I completely agree. Has anybody in here sold the house that they hosted an open house for? I would assume not, but maybe.
No.
No, right?
No.
The whole point is just to meet people. And guess what? I'll tell you this. My very first listing came from an open house. All right. I hosted an open house, and most of the time you're meeting buyers. But guess what? That buyer might have a house to sell. All right. And you ask questions and form a relationship that leads you to that next step. All right. So it's very possible that you go host an open house and you get a listing out of it and a buy. You get 2 deals out of it. All right. Selection strategy: choose a home in high demand. Very rarely, if you are in a higher price point and you're hosting an $800,000 home, who's buying an $800,000 home? The 25-year-old, 35-year-old? Maybe if they come from a very wealthy family. But usually, my experience, it's going to be a 45, 55, 65-year-old person that already has a realtor. It's their second home. So make sure that we're thinking about that. All right, I recommend the 250 to 450 range. Choose homes with great curb appeal. All right, nice pictures. People that are like, ooh, I want to go check that out. It's cute. Choose homes that look and smell good. Again, it looks cute. I want to go check it out. Choose homes that have just come on the market. It's tough in this market. I get that. But I guarantee you, Darlene, 2 weeks ago, I told her, I said, go call 3 or 4 open houses, pick them, and I guarantee you're going to get an open house. One of them is going to say yes to you. And she did. Within 2 hours, she calls me back. She goes, I got an open house. Perfect. Like, if you really want to host an open house, you're going to make it happen. If you really want to lose weight, you're going to make it happen. All right. Choose location close to a main road and is easy to get to. Right. I think that's really important. Promotion. We're going to create a Facebook ad promoting the open house. We're going to put a sign in the yard 3 days prior. We're going to do open house flyer and hand deliver to 50 neighbors the evening before, the morning of. You're going to call your prospects and invite them to the open house. I'll be honest, I don't do all these things. Should I do? Would I get a better turnout? Probably. Right? Frank Gray has way more experience than I do. And could I add 1 or 2 of these things to boost an open house? Probably. Yeah, of course I can. Right? Am I going to choose to do it? I should. I will. Right? Could I create a Facebook ad? I do post on my social media. So pretty much my social media people that see it, but I don't send it out to the masses. Right? I don't do the 3 days prior, but I do put them out, all my signs out like at 8 a.m. So people driving in the morning past it see it and they know it starts at 1. All right. I don't go to 50 neighbors and I don't knock on as many doors as I should, but we should definitely be doing this. All right. And guess what? If you start knocking on and promoting your open house, hey, guess what? They're going to go, you know what? We're thinking about selling our house as well. Oh shit, here we go. Now we're in business. All right. So start that conversation. Call your prospects and invite them to the open house. All right. Signage. They recommend that you have a photo of you, obviously. All right. Your photo. All right. Name, number, open house, and an arrow. I don't have any of that. I have just a big old red sign that says open house, clear as day. You can see it from quite a ways away, right? And it's a bigger one, right? And I have an arrow. Should I be doing this? Probably. If I was definitely doing like the same neighborhood over and over and over, if they saw the face and the name and number, the face and the name and the number, instead of just a generic sign, it probably would drive business, more business, right? Sends the message that you are the dominant agent in the neighborhood. The more signs, the better. It should look like a shrine to you and your open house. All right. Resources. You're going to have a property. You're going to do a flyer for the property. We can talk about that more in depth later. But if you have questions about this, reach out. I'll tell you exactly what you should print out and print out for free at your favorite mortgage company. Don't do it at your favorite title company because they only have black and white ink. Boo. You want color if you can. All right. MLS printouts on comparable nearby homes. Quick CMA on the home's market value. A sample contract. I don't do that, but it probably wouldn't hurt. Laptop with internet access, personal flyers, business cards, display binder with all docs on the property, thank you cards, and read highlights of 62, 63. That's a note for me. All right, other resources. Some people say a bowl of hard candy, small packages of mixed nuts, snacks, bottles of water. I do bring bottles of water, but it's not necessary. I never did the snack thing. Other few items, bottle of Febreze to neutralize any unpleasant odors, a mini broom and dustpan to sweep up crumbs or critters. Okay, I've never really dealt with that, but I'm not gonna say it's wrong. And then set up, I'm gonna run down this real quick, walk through the home and address any remaining issues, unlock all exterior doors and leave them open if weather permits, open the backyard gate, use your computer to play soft instrumental music if needed. I definitely do that and I like it. It's kind of almost like a mood setter, right? Instead of it's just quiet and people walking around, there's a little bit of background music, which is nice. Set up the display binder with all the documents. Open the computer to the listing with all the information there. Put out your business cards. Do a registration book. I used to have people sign in, and now I have a Google form that is open on my iPad because when they signed in, I couldn't read their handwriting. All right. So I do the Google form and it submits, and boom, it's documented of their name, phone number, email address, and if they have an agent or not, right? And got that. The rest is all good, all right? So conversation format. Here's kind of the breakdown of what you actually do once you're all set up and people come in, all right? You have your first guest come in. You want to greet them at the door, open the door for them, all right? Don't like stalk them and like be staring at them, but greet them, get them to come on in. Give your name to get theirs. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Tony Ruiz. What's y'all's name? Or just leave it at I'm Tony Ruiz. And they're gonna, oh, how you doing? I'm Brad Toth. Oh, well, this is my wife, Sarah. Okay, cool, nice to meet y'all. How's your day going? Get them to sign in and use this. Sellers have asked to sign in for safety reasons, right? Especially with COVID happening and all that, people understand that. They're more than happy to sign in. Here's the next level. Have a gift card, all right? Sitting there and going, as they're starting to sign in, oh, thanks for signing in. By the way, we're gonna be doing a giveaway today for a $10 Starbucks gift card. Whoever signs in will be entered in the drawing, all right? So why is that important? Because if there's a possibility that they're gonna win something, they're probably gonna put their correct information down, right? Instead of just giving you a made up number or email address, right? They're probably gonna give you correct information. And then you get to choose if you're going to reward them or not. I'll be honest with you, I've never sent out that Starbucks gift card. It's just a prop of a card, all right? They don't know that they didn't win. Maybe that's bad karma. Maybe I should start sending that out. But anyways, I think it is a good hook to get the correct information when they're signing in. Point out a couple of features and invite them to look around as they're kind of wandering back to the door to leave. Hey, what did y'all think? Can I get some feedback? What's your preferred timetable for moving into a new home? They might say, oh, well, you know, it depends because we got to sell our home. Oh, really? Okay, well, what's your address? You know, I'll run some comps for you to give you an idea of how much you could sell your house for. So these types of questions, can you give me a better sense of what you are looking for if you didn't like this house? And then you've already have some comparable properties in the area. Say, oh, great. Well, I have several other homes in this neighborhood that I think you would like. Would you like to go see them? You know, and Rick says this, if they want to go see them now, shut down the open house and go show them houses, right? Because you're much closer to a deal than hanging out for a couple more hours at the open house that somebody may or may not attend. Or you can say, oh yeah, well, we got to run. Well, I shut down here at 4. I can be at that house at 4:30. Does that work for you? Yeah, great. I've done that before. I met somebody right out after the open house, 4:30, go show them some houses, right? Don't ask these things. Are you working with another agent? Are you pre-approved? We'll get to that. And as you ask the other questions, you'll figure out if they have or haven't, right? And then take extensive notes, because what's really cool is when you follow up and thank them for coming out to the open house, you know, a day or two later, you go, hey, best of luck to your daughter at her upcoming dance recital on Saturday, blah, blah, blah. That leaves an impression. They're like, wow, this person remembers my family and, you know, remembers our interaction. So that goes a long ways, all right? Follow-up plan, write thank you cards. If you have addresses, I might add that to doing that, all right? Set up automated searches, all right? Put everybody on the search in that area. Set up monthly home valuations, add all guests to your CRM. Follow up according to your notes. Don't rush the buyer's rep, be of service first, all right? The skills, vital skills to be likable and gather info. The silver, how much is it going to cost you? You're going to have to buy some signs. I think my signs costed $10 or $12 each. I ended up buying like 12, right? Like 150 bucks, and I reuse them. If you're going to pay for a Facebook ad, if you're going to pay for snacks or waters, if you're going to do property flyers, you could get these printed for free by using your team members, right? Your lenders, your title reps, whoever. Standards, the newbies, all right, the noobs, 20% conversion rate. So, and Ninja Selling says it's 1 out of 16 people. So let's just say you decided to do 4 open houses in a row. You had an okay turnout of 4 people at each. You met 16 new contacts. One of those is going to be a buyer or seller, right? It's going to be a deal. So based off of that, you can count on, if you committed to open houses, you could probably commit on 1 deal a month. 1 deal a month, let's just say it's $7,000 times 12. What do we got? $84,000 of income from open houses. Now, of course, that's you doing that every week, right? What if you did it every other week? Okay, we'll cut that in half. $42,000 if you did every other week. Would you be willing to take in $42,000 of income from doing every other week open houses? You have to ask yourself that question. All right. So there's a lot, as you can see, there's a lot of really good information in this book. And as I was combining this, got to 30 slides in here, and I decided we're going to cut it off there, right? That we're going to be to be continued. So we'll do the OOS on part 2 of this presentation. All right. And then the next couple of weeks coming up. And I leave you with this, is we covered the G and the O, and it's a perfect stopping point for go. Like, you got to go do something. You got to get a plan, and you got to execute that plan. All right. And that's the biggest difference. All right. Top producers take action. And if you don't know what to do, talk to me, one-on-one, call me, text me, whatever it is. All right. But you can't tell me that if you go through all of those videos that we've been doing since July and you really watch them, go back and watch the 2 like badass live videos that we put up with JJ Garena and oh God bless, I'm drawing a blank. What's the name, Shane? Josh Sigmund. Yeah, Josh Sigmund. Like, if you If you really want a better business, take 2 hours of your time and go watch those 2 videos and take freaking notes like a badass, and you will have a very clear picture of how to be a badass yourself. All right. So that's what I leave you with.